Hello, in this video I'm going to share 3 myths of anxiety that you must stop believing. It doesn't matter whether you've got driving anxiety, flying anxiety, fear of public speaking or whatever, these are all the same. The first one is that your problem isn't what you think it is. So there's no such thing as driving anxiety. There are all these strange subsections. People say, I've been diagnosed with advanced driving anxiety. What? I've been diagnosed with a fear of flying. Rubbish, because there's no such thing. Let me explain how anxiety works. There is something you call a trigger and there is something you call an anchor. The trigger is what sets the problem off. It's called a trigger because it's like pulling a trigger and then that fires off the problem. So the trigger, which is what you think the problem is, driving, flying, public speaking, that's just the trigger. It's nothing to do with the real problem. That's just what sets the problem off. The real problem is what we call an anchor. And an anchor is like a ship's anchor. It keeps you stuck. It's something from your past, an old emotion, an old feeling, an old thought stuck in your mind. And that's what's coming up when you drive. So that's why I say it's stupid to diagnose someone with driving anxiety, advanced form of driving anxiety. There's no such thing. That's just a trigger. And I can promise you that any therapist, which this is about probably 95% plus of therapists, any of them who work on the trigger haven't got a clue what they are doing. You don't work directly on the trigger. So you don't work on the fear of driving. You don't work on the fear of flying. What's the point in doing that? There's no point in working on the trigger because the anchor will still be there. The trigger is irrelevant. If you remove the trigger, the anchor remains. If you remove the anchor and the trigger both go and your problem is gone. So please stop believing anyone who will tell you that there are these different forms of anxiety. I've got agoraphobia or agoraphobia. I've got this, I've got that, I've got that. All you've got is a trigger. The second myth is people think it's really hard to fix anxiety. Can you think why? Because so many people are working on the wrong thing, the trigger. That's why it's hard. Therapists say, anxiety, it's really hard to fix that. I've been studying for 20 years and it's really hard to fix it. It's because you're working on the trigger. The what? They don't even know what trigger is. Right, if you work on the wrong thing, of course it's hard. It's like, imagine I've got a hole in the roof of my house, so I call an electrician to come and fit some new power sockets. How's that going to fix a hole in the roof? You're working on the wrong thing. Right, that's not hard at all. When people say it's hard to fix anxiety, no, it's not. It's because you're doing the wrong thing. And I've worked with many people who have said, I've had therapy for 20 years, 30 years. I've had people who have come to me and said, you know what, I've seen psychologists who have run multiple degrees. They've been to all these posh universities, they're famous, and you know the names of them. And they charged me thousands and thousands of pounds, and it did nothing. Because they're working on triggers. It's that simple. If you work on the trigger, you will get a result. So long as you won't get a result. So there you go, by myself there. If you work on the trigger, you won't get a result. You need to work on the anchor and remove the anchor, and then you'll get a result. It's not easy to find the anchor. And I'm not saying, I know I just said it's not hard to fix anxiety. It's not hard to fix it, but I never said it was easy to find the anchor. Yes, it takes skill, but at least if you're looking in the right place, you're probably going to find it, rather than if you're looking at the trigger, you'll never find it. And the third thing that people get wrong, the third myth, is that people say, I've had anxiety for years, so I can't fix it. Rubbish. Why is it rubbish? Because your mind has no concept of time. So it doesn't matter if you've had it for 10 weeks, 10 years, 50 years, it's all the same. Now, yes, as time passes, more things can attach themselves to that. So the way it works is your anchor kind of gets rusty. You get like barnacles or whatever growing on it. So yes, you can kind of attract more negativity to the anchor. But that doesn't mean that just because you've had it a long time, it's harder to fix. It just means you may have more stuff come up and it might take 10 minutes of processing instead of 2 minutes. It's not right. If you've had anxiety for 30 years, 40 years, people think, this is how I am. No, it's not. And I know because I've been through it myself, and I've got rid of things I had for over 30 years. Gone. It's not magic. People say, oh, what you do is in magic because it's some spiritual power. No, it's finding the anchor. If you find the anchor, you'll get a result. Can you see from these 3 things I've said why people are in such a mess? If you've had therapy, let me know in the comments. Have you worked on the triggers? If you go to a therapist and say, I've got a fear of driving, and they talk about driving, cars, exposure therapy, rubbish. Did you find the anchor? Did you find what's really behind it? What's really holding you back? No? Well, that's probably why it didn't work. Somebody I worked with recently, for example, I don't go into too much detail, but I worked with someone recently. Their anchor was something that happened to them as a child, as it often is. It was decades ago, and they completely forgotten it. They thought about it, went through a bit of a sad time, they were crying, they were upset. We talked about that event that happened, they released it, they're driving again. Well, that was hard. No, it wasn't hard at all. And they said to me, how did you do that? How can you possibly do that? I've had therapy for years. Yeah, because you were talking about the driving, right? You weren't looking for the real thing. And I always say, what I do does not always work, because if you don't find the anchor, it won't work, right? It's not hard to fix anxiety, but it's not always easy to find the anchor. So I'm not saying I'm perfect. It doesn't always work, but at least we're going in the right direction. If you're talking about driving, you're never going to fix it because you're not even looking in the right place. But can you see why so many people fail to overcome the problems, and why therapists say, oh, anxiety, it's really hard, that is? No, it's because you're working on the wrong thing. You've told yourself it's difficult when it's not, and you're convinced that they've had it for years, so it's embedded in their mind. It's not, because your mind has no concept of time. As I've said before in many of my videos, that's why you can think of music from when you were a kid and it takes you back. Oh, I remember this song, I remember that. And you get the feelings, don't you? You can see a TV advert from 30 years ago. Oh, I remember that. And you start to think of the things that happened at the time, because there is no time in your mind. To your mind, if you're 50 or 60 years old, you're still 5 or 6 years old. That's how it works. Your mind doesn't do time. So to say you've had it for longer so you can't fix it is rubbish, because you're working in a place where there is no time. Check out these other videos of mine on the screen now for more help. And if you do want to work with me or find out more, contact me through my website, firstdrive.com. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you again soon for more videos.